welcome back to my channel. It's Ashley here, and if you are new, hey girl, hey. So in this video today, I am going to be doing some Valentine's Day decor. I honestly haven't done Valentine's Day decor on my channel in a while, so I'm like, I gotta do something this year. So I'm gonna be sharing 5 different Valentine's Day decor ideas. I know you guys are going to love them. They're all quick and easy to do, so let's get started with project number 1. All right, so the first DIY that I'm gonna do is this XOXO little MDF sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. And you can either leave this twine on the back if you want, or you can take it off. So I'm first gonna take my painter's tape. This is the Sharp Lines tape by Scotch, and it works really good. It works just like the frog tape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually placing this in the wrong position right here, but I'm gonna show you that I am gonna be taping it off this way so that I'll be able to paint the bottom half of these letters. So after that, I'm just gonna be using my favorite chalk paint color, which is White Cottage by Folk Art, and I am going to start to paint the bottom half of these letters. Another thing that I made sure that I did was I painted the underside of these letters. I also started to paint like the inside of the letters too while the tape was still on, but I'm about to show you in just a few minutes why you should not do that with the tape on there. The last thing I did with this is just peeled off that tape, and as you can see, we have some fresh sharp lines there. So with the sides, I would recommend just go ahead and painting your sides after you take the tape off, because as you can see, I have some paint up there because I really couldn't see when I was painting up underneath the tape, and it was really easy to get like a straight, nice, crisp line on the side when I took the tape off. But if you do get some paint on the sides, it's real easy to take it off. All you have to do is take some sandpaper, and that's it. That's all I did to this. Literally just painted the bottom, super easy to do. And then you have some nice decor to hang up, or you can use it as a standalone piece. Okay, so for the second DIY, I'm gonna be taking these heart-shaped trays that I got from Target Bullseye. They were $1 a piece, and I'm just lining them up horizontally for right now, and then I'm gonna take a 1x2, and I'm going to measure where I need to cut on my miter saw because I'm going to be framing these hearts up. So after I did my first couple of cuts and then I came back to the hearts, I realized that doing them horizontally, it would have looked weird. So I decided to do them vertically, and I came back and I cut the longer pieces shorter, and then I cut my 2 top pieces, and it framed up nicely. So after I finished cutting out the frame, the next thing I did with the wood, of course, was sand it smooth and kind of round out my corners. And then after that, I started to stain this. So the stain combination that I did this time was Briar Smoke and Sun Bleached. So I added those to the pieces of wood, and I just kind of like, I put the Briar Smoke on first, and then I put the Sun Bleach on, and then I'll kind of like mix them together to create this really nice stain combination. So while the wood was drying, I started to work on the hearts. So I love these hearts. I love how they feel. They have like a terracotta feel. So I am going to be using my Cricut, and first I'm measuring out my lettering, the size that I need, and I am going to be cutting out this like Ray Dunn dupe font. I think it's like Cali Ray or Cami Ray, whatever it is. I'm gonna have it down below for you. So if you want to use this same one, you can. It's free. You can just download it onto your computer. And if you use Cricut Design Space, you know it's gonna upload on there and you can use it on there. Also, if you have like good hand lettering skills, you don't even have to use a Cricut, and you can just write right on to the hearts. I'm not good with hand lettering, so I am using my Cricut for this. So now I'm just going to place my letters in the center of each heart using my transfer tape, and then that's all I did for these hearts. So then when it came time to add these to the frame, I was going to glue them together, but that didn't work. So I'm going to be using this poplar board. This was like a pre-cut piece that I should have either made longer before I attached them to the back, or I should have cut it in half to make it a little bit smaller so you wouldn't be able to see it. But since I'm using my Gorilla Glue and I glued this on here, I could not take it off. So if you do this, you either want to get a smaller piece to add to the back of these, or you can just stain it to match the wood. So another thing that I ended up having to do was I went back outside and I cut 2 more longer pieces and I added those to the back. And then after I did that, I used my wood clamps and I nailed the frame together. Okay, so this is definitely a favorite. I love how this turned out. I will have the wood cut sizes down below, so if you want to make this exact same thing, you can. And this is just some really cute, simple decor that you can have up in February. For DIY number 3, I'm going to be taking this dollar store MDF plaque that I use all the time, and I'm just going to press the back out, and then I painted the frame. And y'all already know what color I used, heirloom white. So then after that, I took the back, and now this is the craft paper that you can get from the Dollar Tree. It's the craft, like the wrapping paper. And now I'm just gonna take my rotary cutter and I'm cutting it to the shape of the back. And then I'm gonna take my spray adhesive and I'm gonna spray it on the back, and then I'm gonna add it to this square backing. After I did that, I just took one of the same little hearts and I flipped it over, and then I painted it the same color, just the inner portions of the heart, using white cottage, which white cottage and heirloom white are like literally the same color, but they're by 2 different brands. So now I'm gonna take, this is a placemat now. I got this placemat from Hobby Lobby and I thought it was so pretty, and I knew I could use this in a DIY, which this is not the DIY I was gonna use it for, but I just ended up using it for this one. So now I'm gonna do that same thing, and I am going to cut it out using my rotary cutter to match the square frame. Then I took my adhesive, sprayed it on there, and now I'm adding it on top of that craft paper. And then after that, I'm gonna take the rotary cutter again, and I'm just going to trim off the excess. So after I got that nice and trimmed up, now I am going to be placing it on the back using my hot glue. So I'm just dabbing in a couple of places, and then I'm just going to pop this right back into place. And then after I did that, I took my heart and I used my hot glue again, and I just attached it to the center of my framing. And as you can see on the back, I put something completely different. I was gonna do a different DIY and change my mind, so yeah, that's why that's back there. All right, and that is it for this piece. I love the dimension and the texture that this one has, and this would be super cute to just have as a standalone piece, or you can put this up on your wall. Okay, so for DIY number 4, we're gonna be taking this glass dish. I got it from the Dollar Tree, and now I'm gonna take my sharp line tape again, and I'm going to be taping the area off that I don't want painted. So first of all, when I was doing this, I was getting a little annoyed because I was trying to make it as, like, you know, straight as possible, but since it was curved, it was a little hard to do, but I got it done. And so after I did that, I did that same mixture that you guys have seen me do before, where you take the baking powder and whatever paint of your choice and you mix it all together, and it gives you this really, really nice textured paint that you can paint on your pieces. And I just love this technique because it makes things look so good. I like to make mine really, really textured, but you don't have to do that. You can do like a little soft texture, just don't add as much baking powder, and you can see that texture. It looks so good, and then you just let it dry. So after my paint finished drying, I just removed the tape, of course, and then I painted the back of the heart. So you can paint this part whatever color you want, but I just decided to stick with the same color that I had for the sides, and this took about 2 coats of paint. Actually, I think it was 3 coats. And the last thing I did was I started to wrap up the rest of this dish with twine. So the first twine I'm using is one of my favorites, which I got it during Christmas at Michael's, and it's this really nice off-white twine that has like this silver in it. It's so pretty. Honestly, I haven't seen it since. I don't know if it's a seasonal twine, but I'm gonna need to get me some more. So I just added that around the heart. And then for the top half, I just took the regular twine, the brown twine that you see, and then I wrapped that around the top as well. And now you have this cute little dish that you can decorate with, that you can store things in, and this was a really simple DIY to do. Okay, so the 5th DIY, this one is my absolute favorite. I was super shocked with how great this turned out. I love it, and I think you guys are gonna love this one too. So I'm gonna be using these dish towels that I got from Target Bullseye. They were $5 for 2, and I'm going to be using the striped towel to do this DIY with. And then I'm also gonna be using these wooden hearts that I got from Hobby Lobby. They are 40% off. So if you don't have a stellar Dollar Tree that has those wooden hearts that are $1, you can get these from Hobby Lobby. So I'm basically gonna be using these hearts as a template, and I'm going to be cutting around them so that my fabric will have that heart shape, of course. So if you can cut out a perfectly good heart, you don't have to use the wooden hearts. You can just cut it out, but I know myself and my hearts would look totally janky if I didn't use this. So I'm just going to start to cut this out on my dish towel, and I did 6 of these, but you're gonna need 2 separate pieces, so you're going to need a total of 12 hearts cut out. So now that I have all my hearts cut, now I'm going to start to shape them up, clean them up, make them look good, and then I'm going to take my iron and I'm going to iron these nice and flat. And now comes the fun part. So I am going to be taking this twine and I am going to make sure that I glue it into the middle of one of the hearts. So this is a no-sew project. I love no-sew projects because I cannot sew, and gluing is the way to go. So now I'm gonna take the second heart and I'm just going to glue it to the bottom, and then I'm going to glue these together. So once I get them glued together, I'm then going to take some Poly-Fil and I'm going to start to fill these hearts. So that's it. That's all you're gonna have to do is basically take one of the hearts, put them down, then take the twine, make sure that it's in the center, and then you can measure out how far apart you want your hearts to be, and then you're going to glue the hearts together. So you can glue it from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top like I'm doing, and leave a little space so that you can add your Poly-Fil in there. And one thing you want to make sure that you do too is that you make sure that when you are gluing, that you're gluing a little bit away from the edge but not too much from the edge, because then when you pinch them close, as you can see, you'll have like that nice like pinch. I don't know how to explain it, but it'll look like you kind of sewed it together, but you really didn't. So the one thing I loved about this is the cutting. You don't have to have like the perfect cut, because your edges of the hearts can look like frayed and unraveled, and it looks so good. Oh my gosh, I love how this turned out, y'all. This is like, I love it. So then when you get into the groove, this goes by super fast, and you will be amazed with what you're creating, because I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so good. I love this so much. So now another thing that you can do is you can add wooden beads. So these wooden beads I got from Michael's. I would have totally added more of them in between the hearts and stuff like that, but honestly, I didn't have that many, guys. I need to go get me some more. So I just added like 2 to the ends of my little heart garland banner. And now I have this cute garland. Again, this is a favorite of mine. I love the colors with the light gray and the white, and the twine with the wood beads. This came together so well. It's very easy to do, and it is going to be super cute to decorate with. So I like how each one of these turned out. They're all so different. There's so many different ways that you can decorate with these pieces, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below to let me know what you think. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, make sure you click on that subscribe button and you hit that notification bell so you'll always be up to date with my latest tutorials, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.